Hey there, get free detailed notes for this lesson. Just go to the link in the description, fill out your name and email ID, and I'll send the PDF straight to your inbox. This is Riyash at Teachers, and I'm here to help you ace your O-levels Bangladesh studies. Now let's dive into one of the history's biggest mysteries. Why did the Mughal Empire fall? How did one of the greatest empires in South Asia collapse? Reason 1. The fight for the throne, a family feud. When a king dies, it's supposed to be a time of mourning. But in the Mughal Empire, it became a time of chaos. After Emperor Aurangzeb died in 1707, his three sons, Bahadur Shah first, Azam Shah and Kambaksh, turned against each other in a fierce battle for the throne. This wasn't just a small argument, it was full-on war for power. And while they were busy fighting, the empire's leadership became weak, leaving the Mughal territories unprotected and poorly governed. By the time they finally chose a new ruler, the empire was already falling apart. Reason 2. The Marathas, a growing threat. Let's talk about the Marathas. Who were they? Well, they were a powerful group from the western part of India, especially modern-day Maharashtra, with their capital at Raigad. Under their leader Shivaji, the Marathas fought smart. They used quick attacks and guerrilla tactics to weaken Mughal control. They captured important places like Bijapur, Golconda, and parts of Madhya Pradesh and Gujarat. By the 1750s, the Marathas controlled much of northern and central India, and their power grew stronger every single day. The Mughals couldn't keep up, and the Marathas even captured Delhi in the year of 1757. That really showed how weak the Mughal Empire had become. Reason 3. Weak nobles and internal factions. United they stood, divided they fell. In the Mughal Empire, nobles were important people who helped run the empire. These nobles, called mansabdars, were in charge of managing areas, collecting taxes, and leading soldiers. They were given land, which was called as Jagir, by the emperor to take care of. The Mughal nobles came from different backgrounds, like Hindustani nobles, who belonged to Indian-born Muslims loyal to the empire. Then there are Turani nobles, Central Asians who had been brought to India by earlier emperors. And there were Persian nobles, people from Iran who helped in the government and culture. These nobles were supposed to help the empire stay strong. The system where they were given ranks and land was created by Emperor Akbar. But by the 1700s, things started to go really shaky. Instead of working together, these nobles started fighting with each other. They cared more about their own power than the empire's safety. For example, Hindustani and Turani nobles argued and called each other traitors. Again, the Sayyid brothers became very powerful and even controlled the emperors. They made decisions that helped them, not the empire. They even killed or replaced emperors with rulers who did what they really wanted. These fights caused big problems, like rebellions happened in places like Bengal, Awadh, and Deccan because the nobles didn't pay attention to them. Nobles kept the money for themselves instead of using it to fix the empire or build an army. The emperor lost control because nobles acted like their own bosses in different regions. In the end, the Mughal Empire became weak because the nobles were too busy fighting with each other. This made it easier for enemies like the Marathas, Persians, and eventually the British to attack the empire. Reason 4. Corruption and neglect. A system that didn't work anymore. Now, let's talk about the Mansabdari system, the system the Mughals used to run the empire. This system gave each noble a rank or mansab and land or jagir to collect taxes and raise armies. But over time, the system fell apart. Instead of using the money and land to help the empire, nobles used it to live lavish lifestyles. They didn't care about defending their lands or paying their soldiers. Also, nobles were often transferred to new lands, which meant they didn't care about their old lands. These caused taxes to rise, and the farmers were overburdened, making the economy suffer. The empire's treasury ran low, and it was harder to pay for anything, especially the army. The corruption and neglect made the empire weaker and more vulnerable to attacks. Reason 5. A weak and lazy army. Mughal soldiers fighting poorly. Now let's talk about the Mughal army. At first, it was very strong and powerful, but by the 1700s, it was in trouble. Soldiers weren't as disciplined as before. Many lived in luxury and forgot how to fight. They didn't even have modern weapons. In 1739, when Nadir Shah from Persia attacked, the Mughal soldiers just ran away. This showed how weak the army had become. Even local groups like the Marathas and Sikhs were beating Mughal forces in battle. This was a big problem for the entire empire. Reason 6. Ahmad Shah Abdali, the Persian invader. Enter Ahmad Shah Abdali, the ruler of Persia. He invaded India several times between 1748 and 1761. But the biggest battle happened in 1761, the Third Battle of Panipat. This battle wasn't directly between Abdali and the Mughals, but the Mughal Empire was badly hurt by it. Abdali's forces looted Delhi and other parts of northern India. This weakened the Mughal Empire even more and made it hard for them to control their lands. The entire economy suffered and the empire slowly fell apart. Reason 7. The British, the final blow. Finally, we have the British. They first came to India in the 1600s to trade, but soon they became involved in politics. In 1690, after a fight with Aurangzeb, the British got permission to set up trade stations and forts along India's coasts. The Mughal Empire didn't pay enough attention to their navy, so the British controlled the seas. By the 1750s, the British had defeated Mughal allies in battles like Battle of Plassey, which happened in 1757, and 1764 Battle of Buxar, which made them even stronger. In 1857, after the Indian Rebellion, the British finally took control and the Mughal Empire officially ended. This started the British Raj, a period of British rule in India. So, there you have it. The Mughal Empire wasn't defeated by one big thing. It was a bunch of problems that piled up one after another. From family feuds over who would sit on the throne, to the Marathas charging in and grabbing land, to greedy nobles who were too busy fighting each other instead of doing their jobs. The empire was slowly torn apart. And let's not forget the Persian invaders and the British just waiting for their chance to swoop in. It was like a big juicy cake, and everyone was trying to grab a piece before it fell apart. The Mughals were too distracted to hold it together, and before long, they lost everything. But remember, history isn't just about what happened, it's about learning from it. So if you're aiming to ace your O-levels and know the real story behind the Mughal fall, smash that like button, share with your friends, and subscribe for more awesome lessons. And hey, don't forget, the free notes you need are waiting for you. Just fill out the form in the description and they will be in your inbox faster than you can say Empire Fall. Thanks for watching, and remember, history might be old, but the lessons it teaches are still super relevant today. Thank you everyone.